Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group. It's a General Services Administration 2-for-1. GSA announces an AI hackathon and names a permanent TMF director. It's Monday, July 8th, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Here are today's top headlines. The General Services Administration has invited the public to participate in a challenge to reimagine federal websites with artificial intelligence and cloud tools. This AI-themed hackathon, which is co-sponsored by OpenAI and Microsoft, will offer participants access to large language models, technologies to write code, features to increase the consistency of AI-made responses, and more. Scheduled for July 31st in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and New York City, the hackathon is meant to address what federal websites should do to meet a future in which Americans will rely on generative AI tools to find information and access services, according to the GSA. Additionally, the agency said there's a pool of $10,000 in prize money for winning participants and teams. GSA Chief AI and Data Officer Zach Whitman said in a blog post that the hackathon is focused on helping GSA optimize its services for the American people as they use these AI tools more, in the same way that earlier technologies helped the agency evolve. In April, GSA Administrator Robin Carnahan said during AI Scoop's AI Talks event that the agency is operating 7 different sandbox environments and teased upcoming AI applications. Later that month, and in compliance with the White House's October AI executive order, the agency released a resource guide for federal purchasers looking to procure generative AI solutions and related infrastructure. Also, GSA last week published a framework to outline priorities for emerging technologies with a focus on generative AI as part of its FedRAMP cloud authorization process. In other news, amid calls from the White House and Congress to fund the Technology Modernization Fund, the General Services Administration's funding vehicle has named a new permanent executive director. In an email obtained by FedScoop, GSA Deputy Administrator Katie Kale announced that Larry Bafundo would take on the role after most recently serving as TMF's Deputy Executive Director and Acting Executive Director. Kale recognized Bafundo as a technologist who has led complex digital initiatives in both the public and private sectors in that email. Prior to joining GSA in January, Bafundo oversaw the Department of Labor's modernization efforts as Deputy Director and then Director of the initiative, leading a $2 billion effort to upgrade unemployment insurance systems. Additionally, Bafundo served at GSA's 18F Tech unit for just over 2 years as a product manager, leading transformation efforts for crime data collection and reporting, according to his LinkedIn profile. Kale wrote in her email that for 6 years, TMF has been a crucial way to invest in IT modernization projects that enable the federal government to deliver simple, seamless, and secure services to the American public, adding later in that email that the entire TMF will continue to deliver meaningful results for GSA, for other fellow agencies, and for the American people. The announcement comes after multiple calls from top federal IT leaders and lawmakers to revitalize the TMF, and a notice from the GSA that the program is nearing the end of its American Rescue Plan Act funding. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.